is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Blowing out of the backfield, exploding down the sideline.
This is Hangin' with the Boys, presented by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Now, your hosts, Nate Newton, Kurt Daniels, Jesse Holley, and Shannon Gross.
Thursday, 11:30 a.m. Central Time. And that can mean only one thing. It is time for your favorite program or podcast or web views or whatever. It is a beautiful, beautiful 73 degrees outside. It feels like 73 degrees. It's going to be a high of 82, beautiful. A low of 64. There's a live look at the Tostitos Championship Plaza at the Star in Frisco. And we are live in studio. We got the trio together. It's got Kurt. It's got Shannon Gross. It's got Nate Newton. Jesse, do you feel left out that you're not here with us today?
Yeah, I feel kind of left out because, no one...
We didn't tell you that we were all going to be here.
No one told me. Everybody has my number. And no one said, yo, Jess, we're all going to be in studio if you want to slide through. You know, I've been up there a couple of times doing some work with some other things over at DallasCowboys.com.
Some free bowls was out there. And you came and got your bowls yesterday.
Shout out to Bose for that.
See, you telling my business. You telling my business. You telling my business. Nate, you know my slogan, baby. If it's for free, it's for me.
Let's go. Wow. Sorry,
but
Jesse.
Yeah, I feel left out, man. The gang's back in the studio. You know, is everybody Lysol down?
Yeah.
We got
Chris Beam came in here, man.
Yeah.
Chris Beam came in here and greased it down.
Getting a little high off the smell of the Lysol in the microphone.
Yeah, so we're good, Jesse.
I was ahead of my time, man. I was ahead of my time.
Dude, you know what?
With the Lysol.
Ain't nobody that made fun of you for 2 years for doing that laughing at you now. I promise.
You can't. For a year, you couldn't even find Lysol. It was like if you found Lysol, it was like give it to me. I was coming in like.
Once again, the truth spoke, and guess what? Prophecy, my man.
Gospel, yes.
The gospel, man.
Speaking of,
I'm here for a reason, fellas.
Speaking of gospel, we've talked about free agency, and Kurt gave me a little note that the Cowboys have signed a record 10 free agents, and that's not counting their own people that they signed back.
Yeah,
but every one of them was a bargain deal.
I think all but one was 1 year, and they signed Bashan or whatever for 2.
Are we in trouble because they didn't go get any big name free agents, or do you need big name free agents? I know you guys have opinions on this, and I'm going to sit back and listen.
You have to get the right guys,
Oh, by the way, how you doing today, Nate? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
You have to get the right guys, man, like the Blake Martinez's of the world, guys that understand the defenses.
But did we get any of those guys?
I don't know, and I promise you, last year I already had a certain guy, me and him sitting at a buffet this offseason, enjoying our 11 or 12 wins. And I dropped the ball bad because I told everybody that certain donut-eating dude would be great. It didn't happen. So I'm putting all my marbles on the coach this year.
He won't even say his name on the show anymore. He called him the wrong name the whole year, and then now he won't even say his name.
Man. I ate my Dunkins this morning without him. Believe that.
But it makes you wonder, though, because I think they've spent somewhere around 17 to 18 million on these 10 players, and it's like quantity over quality. Should they have spent, get 3 or 4 players, pay them each $4 million or whatever, $5 million, and get better results from that? I don't know. It's a different philosophy that the Cowboys have been following these past few years. But as Jerry said, you get what you pay for, so it makes you wonder.
But we have to believe, though. We have to believe that with our quarterback coming back and being healthy, if he's healthy, 85% or better, and with our offensive coordinator with another year under his belt, learning how to help the defense, things will be much better. With the added addition of the new defensive coordinator, things should be much better. I mean, you can't. Last year we was 32 in everything. So this year, if we at least move up 10 to 12 spots, we should be all right with it with the offense that we're projected to put on the field. Agree or disagree, Jess?
Ooh, you said, look at that bar low. That bar is low. Well, we're at 32, so anything above 32, that bar. What?
I said,
how are we the most recognizable franchise and the most expensive franchise and the star? But boy, that bar is low. You ain't got to even limbo over it. You could have credit card hops and get over that bar. But no, I agree with you, Nate. I think the biggest thing, and Nate has been hammering this idea and thought process since last year, the ability to get back on the field in the offseason. That's going to make a huge difference. And as much as players, myself included, and probably Nate as well, when he played, as much as we harked and barked and moaned and groaned over OTAs and mini camps and mandatory this and, voluntary this, it is so important. It is so vital to your team's progression, to your team's overall chemistry, and for coaches to be able to evaluate. It is so hard. Again, you have the weight room warriors, and you have the people who look the part. You have the guys who can walk in and got neck muscles, got their earlobes can bench press 350 pounds, and they look the part, and they got all these extenuating numbers across the board, and they say, well, the broad jump, that is equivalent to him being explosive, and and they have all these metrics that you can kind of pull from and all that kind of stuff, and it doesn't mean a red tail of nothing that they can't play football. And the only way you find out if someone can play football is by putting them on the field. And when you don't have an opportunity to see that early on, and again, you get into training camp and it's 4 weeks to vet players, put together a roster, cut players, and get ready for the season, you leave yourself at a disadvantage. So I think with this being able to get back to some sort of what we used to know of an NFL offseason, it's still some changes early on, but being able to get back out there and have these guys playing together, because I truly believe if they would have saw last year that, hey, these guys aren't picking this up, by the time we got to training camp, there would have been some changes made, whether that been personnel-wise or whether that had been scheme-wise or fit-wise or whatever you want to do. But once you get into training camp, your mind is so tunnel vision on getting to the season and getting things going that you don't have much time to adjust, and you're pretty much stuck with what you're stuck with. So for them, having the somewhat regular offseason gives them a huge advantage and puts things back in perspective, because you can actually see, does the metrics and the numbers and all that kind of stuff, does that equate to that person playing good football? Because you can run fast as hell, but if you running left and the ball going right, you just a fast dummy going the wrong way, and it does no good for nobody.
All right, look, I don't know if we should say. Let's save this for the second segment, because Nate's going to have a big opinion on the draft. So let's wait for the second segment, because there's some news that came out yesterday that
you don't want to weigh in on the defense now.
What do you mean?
It's getting better. You like these signings or not?
Go ahead, Kurt.
Yeah, he want to know what you think.
What did you?
What do you think about these?
Man, just
pennies on the dollar.
You know what?
Sign.
Just get me to training camp. Right now, it's just lip service. That's just true. You sign this guy. They're all role players. They're gonna. Nobody's. I don't think any of these guys that they're signing are going to be like they're not going to fix the defense.
Right.
They're stopgap guys right now that are just. You're getting bodies in here. You're getting ready for training camp. You're getting some depth at positions. But I don't think any. Right now, if you run this defense out there, I think you're getting the same thing you got last year. I don't think you're still going to have to score 40 points.
It does feel like a lot like last year. You had a new defensive coordinator
It feels like the last 8 years. Like Brandon Carr was the last big name guy that they brought in here that was, that really was going to help the defense. Now,
and they misused him.
Right.
Yes, they did.
You know, yeah.
did.
So I mean, I don't.
They signed them from one scheme and put them in a totally different scheme and said, "Why aren't you being successful?"
Right.
Well, because you're not playing me how I played when I was over there.
And then when they started playing him the right way, then they let him go, and he went somewhere else, and he had a pretty darn productive end of his career. So, you know, I've seen this book. I've seen the movie. I've read the book. Just, you know, I'm not excited. I'll put it that way. And look, I'm not knocking.
I'm excited.
I'm not knocking these guys they signed because I don't know a whole.
Yeah, I'm excited.
About what? Wait, let me go on record to say I'm not knocking any of these guys because I have to go in that locker room. I don't know enough about these guys that they signed to say they're not going to help. What I do know about everybody is you're replacing guys that left with guys.
You're the cutting edge, man.
I
Shannon,
tell you what.
Shannon, do you fear that, Shannon? Is that a little bit of a fear of yours? Like, what do you think actually is going to happen to you in the locker room?
Nothing. But
do you fear that someone's going to do something to you in the locker room?
Not at all.
No, he's going to be asking these guys for interviews during the year.
That's what I fear pissing someone off because I have to ask them to do stuff for social media. So now look, I don't mind.
I thought you meant someone's going to hang you up by your drawers in one of their lockers.
I'm not worried about that.
By your Tommy Johns.
But if I tell you what, if I do have an opinion about a guy, like I don't mind talking about it. I just, you know, if I don't have a problem if a guy's not performing, putting that out there. I just when I say things, sometimes I'm like, you know what, that could be translated into this, and I just sometimes I want to clarify that I'm not talking.
Maybe I should take your approach more than you.
You know
take
what?
My
You probably
more,
should.
Right?
You probably should. It's probably would elongate your career just a little bit in certain areas if you would do that. But you know, that's a whole different podcast.
I might have to do that.
That's a documentary that they should do on you, Jesse.
There you go.
Man, you know what? That would be nice.
You know, one thing I got to admire about Jesse, the humble beginnings of Mr. Fourth and Long. A guy that would get up at any time of the night, run through mud, roll on concrete. He didn't care. Now he's the most opinionated,
I know, right?
KB stop guy in the world.
You know what?
Way to go, Jess.
You know
just like football, life is fluid, baby. You can change your opinion. You can change your ways.
I had a few people reach out to me last week, or maybe it was the week before, when we talked about the Final Four bracket or the sweets, the bracket.
Don't even talk about that.
About man, Jesse is full of himself, isn't he? He really got upset about that basketball thing. Like, he was really upset. I'm like, look, you just got to know Jesse. Like, Jesse's very confident.
But they won't say it to me, though.
They
won't say confident. That to me. They won't say that to me. They'll call you and tell you that, but they won't call me and tell me that.
But you know what's so sweet about Jess? How so matter of fact about Jess when he said, yeah, they'll make it to the Elite Eight. I mean,
oh, you talking about?
Yeah.
UNC?
Yeah, that makes it.
I was talking about the personal, the Cowboys player bracket. You're hitting a whole other nerve. I'm talking about him as a person full of himself.
It was the same.
Not his university.
He thought Carolina, they thought they was going to the 8. They didn't. He thought he should have been in the top 2. He wasn't. But it's the same.
You know what?
Y'all are rough on
By the way, while we're on this subject, Chris Beam. Congratulations.
Let's go. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations. Chris is the biggest Baylor Bear supporter in the world.
Way to go, Chris.
So, Chris, congratulations. Big week for you, man. Big week.
Big week.
He got a solo dub in Call of Duty. This was it the same night or the night after Baylor won?
It's Tuesday.
So
the night after.
Okay.
Wow,
so big week for Chris.
Living right.
Big week.
Living right.
So congratulations, Chris. Keep doing
Baylor
what you do.
Bears
Take him to Vegas.
And they did it nicely, man.
Dude, they look good.
Yeah.
I won the pool here too.
Yeah. Good for you, man. Good week. Solid week for you, Chris.
Solid week.
About time, man. About time something good happened to you.
Appreciate that.
Just kidding.
Something good happens to him every Thursday at 11:30.
That's right. There you go, Kurt. There you go.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Kurt, let them know.
That's the truth.
All right, we're going to save draft for next segment. Let's get Kurt. Where do you want to go? You want to talk about offensive line before we go to break?
Before we go to break here,
Yeah.
Offensive line.
Well, that's
kind of draft. It's kind of draft
related.
What do you want to talk about? Let's don't talk draft because that might be the whole rest of the show.
Yeah, well, I've got something for you. We've been talking about they need defensive backs and everything. I saw a story that said that in theory, the slot corner is becoming one of the most valuable positions on the field.
It is.
And I find that kind of surprising in this day and age. And the article even said that the Cowboys are kind of playing this right because they're signing Jordan Lewis back, and they've addressed that in the past. But I wondered, I mean, they've signed Jordan Lewis in the past. They've signed Anthony Brown in the past, Orlando Scandrick in the past, that sort of thing. But they let guys, they let Byron Jones go, the outside guys. Awuzie, they let they let go. I mean, is that a philosophy we're seeing from them? And in this day and age, is that the right philosophy?
Let me quickly. You remember when Jesse always say, hey, we need a DB that can reroute a guy, make the quarterback look away for a second? Those is what slot corners do. They take away that short yardage pass, or what we call the long handle run. The 5 and 6 yards, but first down. If you can take away that and make it go out to those outside guys who are going to have to run a longer route, take a little bit more time, let's give the rush a chance to get there. So if your two slot corners are nice and can redirect guys and make that quarterback look away, the Tom Brady's of the world lives on those inside guys. And if you can take away those guys real quick by those slot corners, they're becoming more and more important. And the whole draft, the whole league is about, can you have enough corners? Mm-hmm. Turn it over to the big dog, to the gospel.
No, you hit it right on the head. Being able to control that underneath, that is the slot route is the death by 1,000 cuts. All right, if throughout a game that slot corner is eating, and it may not be big chunk yardage, but it's chain movers, and then eventually after about 1,000 cuts, they hit you over the head, over the top. You got guys in there who can't, don't know what's going on, and that's how you end up getting beat. So having someone who will be able to stop that, and you're not going to be able to stop or completely shut out a slot corner, but you have to limit the opportunities and limit the opportunities on third downs. That's the money down for those slot receivers, because what it's basically doing is they're going to run a lot of stuff that lift the defense and then leave the little guy underneath, or the back out of the backfield underneath, because they're saying, if I can get the ball to my slot corner or to my third down back, I like my chances on him beating your guy one-on-one, whether that be in the route concept or after the catch and the yak yards, because everybody else is lifted and occupied elsewhere. So having that person, and I do think Jordan Lewis is more than capable enough of holding that spot down at a high clip, being a good slot corner. That's only going to help your defense a little bit more.
So you like that? I mean, we just got done talking about their bargain shopping and free agent, but they re-signed Lewis 3 years at $13.5 million. I mean, you like that kind of investment more than going out and getting an outside corner?
It just depends. I mean, on the talent and what you're trying to do. As much as I want to think that the new defensive coordinator is going to be a miracle worker, that's exactly what they're going to have to be. Mm-hmm. You got players on this team, even though they had success at the beginning of the year, they still going to have little things, little nuances that they're going to have to adjust to. And you have to build these guys up. So they may ask they may ask Jordan just to play that slot. Don't take your mind nowhere but to this guy and what we're asking you to do. How quickly can these guys lock in? Because when you have a lesser talented guy, you got to cut down on the mistakes. You have to be a thinker and a perfect type player. And I keep going back to the Blake Martinez guy. That's who he is. Mm-hmm. He's a tackling machine, and if you surround him with great players, he could be something real special. But like New York don't have great players, but he does his job, and he keeps everybody lined up. That's what we're looking for, guys on defense that can line up and do your job and minimize big damage.
All right, let's take our first break. When we come back, the rest of the show is probably going to be – this is not the draft show of record.
Right.
But we are going to talk about the draft, and word came out yesterday in the national media that Mr. Jones is obsessed with a particular player. Infatuated, wow. I think that was the word. And – I think Nate's going to have really strong opinions because he kind of alluded to this a few weeks ago. You know what?
Less than a month out, right?
And as usual, One of these days we're going to start listening to Nate because he was right. Jesse's not the only one that's always right on this show. So when we come back, we'll find out what that little tidbit
I'm
of
just the
information
only that's
is.
right I'm just right consistently. That's all.
All right, Jesse.
We will
All
be right
Jesse.
back on Hanging with the Boys.
Just like all of you, we at SeatGeek can't wait until we're back in the stands at full strength cheering on the Cowboys and singing along to our favorite songs again. We're using this time to make discovering, buying, and selling tickets to events in Dallas easier. Plus, every ticket purchased on SeatGeek is protected by our buyer guarantee, which means you'll get your money back or better if your event is canceled. Guaranteed. Download the SeatGeek app today, and when the time is right, let's go. SeatGeek.
Grab some OtterBox gear and get ready for Hanging with the Boys. From rugged venture coolers to tough as nails elevation tumblers, we've got what you need to keep your game day drinks frosty and your football feast ice cold. And with cases, screen protectors, and power accessories, you can defend your phone and stay connected to every play. Gear up at OtterBox.com and amp up the fun of every Cowboys game. That's OtterBox.com.
1996, a great year and a glorious decade. Dolly the Sheep was cloned. Dial-up was awesome. Influencers didn't exist. Pants were baggy. And the Dallas Cowboys won it all yet again. Sadly, we can't go back to the 90s, but we can still watch the Cowboys try to win it all once more. Whether you're traveling to the games or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com. Proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Petit Jean Meats has been providing high-quality meat for families for more than 90 years. Using only the best cuts of meat and quality ingredients, Petit Jean Meats still smokes their meats the old-fashioned way, over real hickory chips for 18 hours. Fill your pantry with Petit Jean Meats ham, sausage, bacon, and more. Or send your loved ones a gift box full of their favorite items from pjmeats.com. That's pjmeats.com. Petit Jean Meats. Taste the difference.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
Welcome back to the SWBC Mortgage Studio here in Frisco, Texas. 3 of us are here. 1 of us is not because we didn't invite Jesse to the show. Jesse,
Sorry,
I hope you don't have any hard feelings. It was kind of it was an afterthought. Kurt was here. They're making us come back to work most of the time. Nate's here for you know what we're doing with Nate? We're turning a story that happened on this show into
documentary.
A mockumentary.
A mockumentary.
Little behind the scenes tidbit. So that will be coming out here in the next few weeks, and we will talk about it on the show when it happens.
Social element.
It will be.
We're turning the show into a documentary.
No, we're turning a moment that happened on the show into a mockumentary. So
documentary.
Oh, a mockumentary.
Nate thinks it's a documentary. I had to tell him that to get him to do it, and that's why he's in the studio. It's actually a mockumentary. So we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to it. But right now, if you're watching the game in old basketball shorts or baggy sweats, that's for amateurs. If you want to relax like a pro, upgrade to the comfort of Tommy John Loungewear. It looks awesome, feels even better. It's got pockets for snacks and is machine washable for any unpredictable nacho cheese spills. Shop loungewear at TommyJohn.com/Cowboys for 15% off your first order. TommyJohn.com/Cowboys. All right. Here we go.
Here we go.
Nate had the foresight to call this several weeks ago. Word came out yesterday on national media. I saw it on the Colin Cowher show. I have not heard this internally, so I've just heard this in the national media. That Mr. Jones is, what's the word, Kurt?
Infatuated.
Infatuated with a certain tight end at the University of Florida, Kyle Pitts, which from everything I'm hearing, he's a generational guy. They're comparing him to Calvin Johnson. He's a tight end. He's really a receiver that plays tight end.
Yeah.
And the word on the street is, I heard they might entertain the idea of trading up to get him if he's there at a certain spot or whatever. Now, Nate, you told us several weeks ago, watch, when we get within a month of the draft, everybody's saying defense. We all are screaming defense. The fans are screaming defense. We're screaming defense on this show. Now they're starting to talk about offense. What are your thoughts on that, Nate?
You know, We looking at this guy. And see, this is the problem I have.
Now wait, Nate. He's got the longest.
Go off, Nate.
The longest wingspan.
Nate.
The longest wingspan of anybody in the 20-year history of the combine when they're doing measurables. He has the longest wingspan of anyone in the last 20 years.
And every time he catch a touchdown, he spreads those wings out.
Yeah.
See him right there? He spread.
I see him.
This is the problem we have. And I promise you, every time Mr. Jones walk into the building, somebody in media sends a thing right to his computer with this same little highlight. And so by the time we get to the draft, Mr. Jones, he'll be sitting up there smiling, and he'll be son on the right, and coach on the left, and everybody be around him, and we'll be sitting down on the other end at the top head at his table, and all of a sudden he'll say, "Well, I'm going to make a executive decision."
Mm-hmm.
And I know what y'all have went out there, and I've paid you well to study these players defensively. But you know what? I feel the same thing happened last year is happening this year. We had a defensive player lined up, but we're taking this guy from – call him. And Steven already be on the phone. "Hello, how you doing? We're moving up to get such. And it'll be our offensive guy. That guy right there. I ain't calling his name. That guy right there.
Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, I'll call it for you.
And then all of a sudden, guess what we'll all be saying, including me? "Man, that was the best guy in the draft. He fell right to us." And then we'll be on defense, scrambling, crying,
having to score
whining.
50 instead of 40
in the league.
Yeah.
And then the funny thing about it is, this guy will be the generational pick and won't even get on and won't even play for 5 games. That's what's gonna hurt. Won't even be on the field for 5 games. Well, what happened? Well, he ain't as smart as we thought he was.
Does that go back to best player versus best player of need?
I tell you, sometimes when you are hurting, and there's so many guys that fit that 10th slot. Like last year, like this guy, nobody's touched this kid we got from Oklahoma. I mean, it was no argument. You couldn't get, you'd had no ammunition. With this guy here, unless they move up, that's the only argument you have. Like, wow, why did they move up? Why did they give up this? Now we don't have a second pick, or now we don't have a next year's first, or however you do it, whatever he's worth. That's the only argument you'll have, because other than that, you'll be drooling. Oh my God. We're going to stay in 4 wides. We're going to stay in 5 wides because he's a wide receiver. This ain't no tight end, man. This dude couldn't block my grandmama. This is a wide. Jesse, talk to me, man. If I'm seeing it wrong, he's a wide receiver, man. This dude a wide receiver. Am I wrong or what? Look at him.
No, you're right. He is a 245-pound, 6'5" wide receiver who they just stuck in at tight end.
Say that again. Say that again. 6'5", 248 pounds. Is that what you said?
4.44 40.
4.4 40 at that size. Jesse, would you draft him? Would you go get him? Would you move up?
I would not move up. I would take the similar. You would?
I say don't move up. Don't
move up. I would not move up. I would not move up. I would take the same approach as I did a year ago. Have my defensive guy ready to go. But if CeeDee Lamb, if Kyle Pitts falls into my lap at 10,
get him.
You have to take him.
Gotta get him.
Like it's like honestly.
Wait, Kurt, what's that face, Kurt?
Well,
you have to take him.
Well, here's my question, I guess, is that you have 3 Pro Bowl caliber receivers right now.
You trade one. You get rid of bye Michael Gallup.
You probably have to, I guess, because is Kyle Pitts as a tight end gonna give you that much of a difference over Blake Jarwin? And I realize, and I mean that, and obviously talent-wise, he is better than Blake Jarwin. But is he going to get, Blake Jarwin or Schultz caught 60-something balls last year. Is this guy going to give you more than that? I mean, how much of a difference is he going to put you towards a playoff berth for a Super Bowl when you're already stacked at wide receiver?
You know what's so amazing?
What Kyle Pitts gives you? Just on the surface, he gives you freakish talent. Okay, again, 6'5", a long wingspan 4.4. An NFL GM said, if you can control Kyle Pitts, the GM said, you can dictate the defense all day long with a guy like Kyle Pitts. And you're saying, well, how, Jesse? Kyle Pitts makes you have to play a certain way all the time. Either, Nate, we were talking about earlier in the first segment, slot corners.
Yes.
You're not going to put a linebacker on Kyle Pitts. You're not. You'll be a fool to. You'll be a fool to put a linebacker all game long on Kyle Pitts. Too slow, not athletic enough. He's 6'5". Slot corners these days ain't running 6'3". They running 5'9", 5'8". On a good day, 6 foot. On a good day, 6 foot. You've created this ultimate mismatch. And now, what do you do with the safety? Do you go too high? Right? Because I still got one of the best route runners in the National Football League in Amari Cooper. I still got, happy birthday to him, 22-year-old CeeDee Lamb, who caught 880 yards last year. And I don't give a damn who you put. Noah Brown, put Cedric Wilson, put Michael Gallup, whoever you want on the other side. So now if I'm in too high and I had to bring in a slot corner, I had to take a linebacker off the field to bring a slot corner or some sort of nickel dime personnel to guard Kyle Pitts. Well, now I can run the football all day long. Because I got a guy, I took a linebacker off the field. The safeties are so far back. Now, my linemen are like, I'm going here. I can combo here. I can get up to that second level, get these blocks. And now Zeke's not getting touched to the second, third level. Cool. You want to go single high safety? That's fine. Now, where does that safety go? He's going to have to play 40 yards off the ball because ain't no way in the world you trying to stop the run. So you're going to bring that other safety down. It's a single high safety. So you're going to go man to man with Amari Cooper, Kyle Pitts, CeeDee Lamb, and hell, you can put me out there on the other side. And I'm going to give you 40 catches with that lineup because I'm going to get the fourth best guy.
Come on, Jesse. 40 catches.
Dak would 40. Third down. All I need is, listen, third downs is going to be my money down. And Dak will have a field day with that. So a guy like Kyle Pitts not only is a generational talent, but he dictates what the defense has to play all the time because you're at a disadvantage. You're at such a disadvantage with a guy who's 6'5", who runs a 4.4, who again back shoulder fades, throwing over the seam routes. Like that's just you. Imagine you line Kyle Pitts, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper in a bunt set, and line whoever else you want outside there. How do you stop that? That's pitch and catch all day long. So it might not be the defensive guy that you wanted, but there isn't a defensive guy that we could pick in this draft. If Kyle is sitting there at 10, there isn't a defensive guy in this draft. If Kyle Pitts is sitting at 10, that is more dynamic or can dictate more than Kyle Pitts would on offense.
All right, so Jesse's taking him at 10. Nate's taking him at 10. Kurt?
Nate's taking him at 10?
Only if I'm not moving down to get him.
You have no other choice.
Really?
See, that's what you call a jam session. I mean, where are you going?
Yeah.
He jammed right on top of you, just like CeeDee Lamb was last year. You could see guys.
Wait a minute. Nate has been screaming for a year. You gotta draft defense.
I'm still with you.
And now you're taking a tight end?
No, I am still with you.
Wow.
But it's nowhere in the world that you have this talent drop to you. Like last year, I'm counting and praying. You can see guys in our draft room, guys I was working with, they went to counting like, okay, it's 3 receivers left. They're top 15 receivers. Oh, my God, it's 2 receivers left. And then it's 2 picks away from – you can see these people's eyes lighting up. You can see Mr. Jones all the way from his yacht, his eyes lighting up. Their eyes going to light up, man. And how do you defense what Jesse just said?
You can't.
You can't.
Kurt, are you taking him?
I fall a little bit more on the draft the best player that you need. And so I just don't know. Kyle Pitts, yes, he's an amazing talent, but you're already so talented on offense. What are you going to do with your defense?
Like they say in the NBA, bro, you can't get enough shooters.
You're going to have to outscore guys 50 to 40, you know? I mean, I just don't know. At some point.
We got to score one more point than them.
We tried that last year.
51, we tried that last year.
First 4 games of the season.
What if I bet those 2 tackles are probably graded higher. I mean, the kid from Oregon, he's supposed to be one of the top. Yeah. They're both supposed to be future Pro Bowlers.
But who's going to fall to us if we was to go into the draft and let's say we go get one of our draft experts who just did a show before us, and we say, okay, give us the top, how these teams are picking, who's picking first, and how do these guys fall to us? If it's enough quarterbacks up there, enough premium tackles up there for this kid to fall. That's what happened last year. Is they made a run at certain positions. That's how those wide receivers fell us. And I don't remember what run was it. It wasn't linebackers. It was another position where everybody I gotta have this guy. And one quarterback moved up that nobody thought was gonna get up. And once that one quarterback get up there, that started tumbling down. So who is that quarterback or that player that nobody is saying is gonna be a top 10 pick? Who can put himself at the 5th or 6th pick and make this thing fall down? Is it Is it a cornerback? Because remember last year they made a run on cornerbacks and it knocked these kids down.
Mm-hmm.
They made a run on cornerbacks and all of a sudden the wide receivers fell into our lap. So it can get ugly. Who is that team, our teams, that's willing to say, forget Pitts. We getting this tackle.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more likely that one or both of those tackles could be there at 10. And if you're going best player available, you don't, excuse me. Tyron Smith is banged up and hurt. Who knows about Lyle Collins?
We don't need 2 of these guys back.
Yeah, but you don't. But that's your best player, and you want an off. If our offensive line is like last year, who cares who you got running the football, or who cares who you got on the receiving end? Dak's going to get beat up again. I mean, is that what they got? You get the best player.
Get Lyle back,
but we don't know that. Are we going to get them back the way we are?
We get Lyle back and we get the president back, we good. Tyron will be just a special thing for us. I'm telling you, if we get 2 of those players back, and we can't You can't spend the rest of your life drafting offensive linemen. I'm
best
being
player
honest.
available. You want to get the defense going.
We're talking about generational player.
These 2 tackles are supposed to be Pro Bowlers, all pros.
I'm not going to argue with you. I'm an offensive guy for his tackles, but I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, you can't. The argument was about this kid,
right,
with the 8,000 foot wingspan.
I don't know. I just think there comes a point where
I'm with you. I'm with you, but can we
only have so much
Can we
offense.
be the last person to talk to Mr. Jones and say, "Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it"?
I don't get paid.
Y'all don't want to have me in that room because if Kyle Pitts sit there, I'm saying, "Do it, do it, go get him, go get the freaking nature."
Because it scared me so bad. I went out there and looked at the NFL.com and their top guys, the Daniel Jeremiah's, and he had him picking some kid out of Michigan, edge rusher. It's that Paye, P-A-Y-E. I can't even mess up his first name. I don't want no kid from Michigan. I'm sorry.
You done with him?
Quiddy Paye.
What is his name?
Paye, is it? Quiddy Paye.
Yeah, his name is Quick Pay, so we don't want him. Yeah, we don't want Quiddy Pay.
So we've already said Pitts can't block. So what are you going to do in the running game? You're going to draft a number one, a generational player that's not even going to be first down?
You don't have to worry about him blocking in the running game. He ain't blocking the defensive end. He ain't blocking the linebacker.
What's he doing?
Jeremy Sprinkle is his name. We just got our blocking.
So you're taking Pitts off the field?
We don't have to. Jeremy Sprinkle will just be who he is.
So
He'll just be sprinkling here and there.
No, that's what I was saying earlier, Kurt. When Pitts is on the field, he makes you have to change the way that you play defense. So when he's on the field, you can't keep that linebacker out there.
Oh Lord!
It's going to be 5-on-5.
We're taking a tight end in this draft.
You know what? If they was to get this Jeremy Pitts, you know what they'll look like, man. They'll look like the old Texas Tech when they used to score like 50,
75
points a game. Now it'll be some high-scoring games. It'll be some tired guys by the 8th game. It'll be some tired defensive.
Man, here's some of your recent first-round tight ends taken: Hawkinson, Hayden Hurst, O.J. Howard, Evan Ingram. Tight ends. I don't know. Yeah, Eric,
and none of those guys are Kyle Pitts.
Okay, I hope you're right.
You know what, man? The big kid that was at New England, now he's back. He's with Tom Brady.
Gronk.
You let this kid put on like 5 or 6 pounds over a 2-3 year period, and he ain't gonna be the blocker Gronk is. Never gonna be the blocker. But you talking about running away from folks and hurting folks, and that's the type kid this kid is. Gronk was. That was a different dude, bro. This is what can he be that guy, Jesse?
Kyle, he can be better than Gronk. Gronk is not a good route runner. Gronk isn't running away from somebody.
Gronk know the end zone. Gronk know the end zone. Gronk know the end zone.
He's 6'8". He's 6'8". He
Gronk. But hey,
Gronk was the recipient of the death by 1,000 cuts. I'm telling you,
Gronk knew the end zone.
They do all that underneath stuff, and then once you fall asleep trying to do all that, here comes rumbling, grumbling Gronk for a big game down the field. But Kyle Pitts would be more like, and I will take this, I will stand on this mountain, I will die on this mountain. If Aaron Hernandez had not turned out to be whatever it is he was,
yes, sir.
Aaron Hernandez would have been one of the best tight ends to ever play the game. Football.
You would never get an argument there.
I promise you.
Get an argument
I watched him every single day.
He was
practicing with him. He was 6'2.5", 245 pounds, and ran routes like a receiver.
He was special.
Okay, they cut me. I was supposed to be the last cut. They said we're going to go with 4 receivers, and we're going to let Aaron Hernandez be our 5th wide receiver / tight end in all the packages that we run. That's how special Aaron Hernandez was. They paid him like that, and he was going to be, again, despite whatever happened, he was going to be the generational talent of tight ends in the National Football League. He would have been better than, what's your man name in Kansas City?
Kelsey.
Kelsey, better than Travis Kelsey, better than Gronk, better than whoever you name. He had a special talent. And I think Kyle Pitts has that type of talent.
And where did he go to college?
Florida. Same place.
They both went to Florida.
I'm going to tell you that right here. You can say what you want.
They both went to Florida.
You can say what you want about this kid, but I ain't finna let you talk about Gronk. Gronk was the man. Gronk was everything.
No, Gronk is still a man.
Yeah.
He's still that dude.
Yeah. And so when this guy, whoever he's with, Jess, and I hope that we have a long relationship here together as a team, we will watch him and we will praise him, but until he surpassed my boy Gronk, no, sir.
All right. You know what? We wasted a whole segment talking about something that's not going to happen.
It's your fault.
Because Kyle Pitts is not going to fall to 10. So we just wasted, a good 20 minutes of everybody's time with that talk. But you know what? We're not going to waste the last 15 or so minutes of this show, because guess what? When we come back from break, it's Kurt's Amen Corner. When we come back.
Amen Corner.
On Hangin' with the Boys.
How great would it be to travel to watch the Cowboys win on another team's turf? Pretty great. But honestly, just watching the game from anywhere but your house would be fun. Even a hotel bar with some guy named Phil from St. Louis who thinks Oakland still has a team. So whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Hey, Cowboys fans, if you're thinking about attending a game this season, visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today. Stay at the team hotel, have dinner with a Cowboys legend, and experience AT&T Stadium's exclusive VIP Owners Club. Also, tour the Star, get autographs from your favorite players, and talk X's and O's with me, Mickey Spagnola. The official travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys will take care of all your travel needs. Visit cowboystravel.com.
Just like all of you, we at SeatGeek can't wait until we're back in the stands at full strength cheering on the Cowboys and singing along to our favorite songs again. We're using this time to make discovering, buying, and selling tickets to events in Dallas easier. Plus, every ticket purchased on SeatGeek is protected by our buyer guarantee, which means you'll get your money back or better if your event is canceled. Guaranteed. Download the SeatGeek app today, and when the time is right, let's go. SeatGeek.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
Tour AT&T Stadium, the home of the Dallas Cowboys. Run on the field, see the locker rooms, and so much more. Tours are available daily. For details, visit attstadium.com/tours. And then, Kurt, you got something in your hand over there.
I don't put this on camera somewhere.
Yeah, I'm taking that extra one.
Yeah, draft guide's available now. It's on shop.dallascowboys.com or go to dallascowboys.com/star. Kyle Yeomans did amazing work on it. Michael Villarreal on the design. Our writers upstairs. It really
Kyle
nice.
be hustling
really
on it, man.
I got it.
Check it out.
Kyle be hustling on it.
It'll give you the draft preview with the Cowboys spin to it. It'll let you know what the Cowboys need, what they don't need, which maybe he's a linebacker or a
Kyle must have done 100,000 podcasts, huh?
Right there.
Kyle's a busy man.
Yeah.
Kyle is a busy man. Put that guy to work.
Yeah.
Putting that guy to work.
For sure.
Kurt, you had a little bit to do with the draft magazine, didn't you?
Yeah, I put that thing editor. Had to put it together, so it's fun to do.
Yeah.
So what does the editor do? If they spell
Not
a word
much.
wrong,
If it's anything like what he does on the show.
What they do?
Oh, come on.
What does the editor
Let's
do?
just say this, Nate.
Quickly.
Let's just say this. Let's just say this, Nate. Kurt goes home at night and prays that he never has to edit any of your work. Because that would be a task with all the misspellings and all
the mispronunciations.
grammatical errors.
Mispronunciations.
Kurt would be exactly. Kurt would be there until the cows come home.
But at least they have a job.
That's true. That's true.
Good work, Kurt. What does an editor do?
But then they might fire you because he's working overtime.
You read a lot, right?
I mean, it's start to finish. It's signing stories, deciding what we're going to do for the magazine, then, finding photos, getting the stories in, editing, putting it all together, final editing approval.
So has Broadus in it this year? He didn't have a lot to do with it?
He's in one of the ads. There he is right there on the fan. Right there. He looks like Gru on Despicable Me. Letting his hair grow out. He's lost weight.
No, Broadus is a busy man himself, so we kind of turned it to Kyle this year to do our scouting reports. He did a great job.
Tell you what, Kyle is, I love Kyle's story. Kyle is a grinder, man. He worked his ass off to get where he's at. Like, he took a part-time position and was doing podcasts and stuff and did a little on-camera stuff, and he's really he's worked it out, man.
We need to enjoy him while we can.
Hey, hold on, man.
He's going to be big time.
Hold on, brother.
He's going to be national.
He loves when we do this. This is supposed to be the A-Big corner section.
No, when I take it over.
Yeah, when you take it over.
Before we get to that, Jesse, what's your shirt say?
Black mental health matters.
Like it. Is there a story behind it?
Black. Shout out to my
Is there a story behind it?
What'd you say? I can't hear you.
Is there a story behind the shirt wearing it?
No, I just, a lot of times in the African American community, we've always equated mental health as, going to see a therapist as crazy. Like, oh, you're crazy, man. Like, we don't go see therapists. You don't go sit down and talk to anybody. You kind of deal with it on your own. So mental health has always been labeled as quote unquote crazy in the black community. And it's never been something that has been taken serious in the black community. It's always been frowned upon if you go sit down and talk to somebody, or if you're dealing with depression, or if you're dealing with, something. Sometimes they even kind of say it's spiritual, like, oh, that's just the devil in you. When mental health is truly it affects all black, white, Asian, green, purple, whatever, all humans. So for me, it's just kind of bringing awareness to mental health, and especially those who have mental health issues in the black community, that it's not a stigma. It's not a bad thing. It's not looked down upon, but it's something that really is an issue, and it should be addressed, and it should be addressed in the proper way. And my homie Rich Franz, he made this shirt for me. You can get these shirts or shirts like this at RF84. RF84U.com, RF84U.com, and he has a bunch of different shirts, and these have mental health. They have a bunch of different things on them. But for me, it's the stigma that's been put on mental health in the African American community by African Americans that it's not a real thing, and it is. So just trying to bring some awareness that black mental health matters.
Cool, love it,
Good.
man, love it.
Good.
All right, Kurt. Take it away.
Well, a couple things.
Thanks, Rich.
I want to get your take. We were just talking about it in the break, and I thought Nate had an interesting point. I want to maybe get Jesse's take on it too. But in this day and age, are there certain positions, whether it be their impact on the field or their durability, that you just shouldn't take with a high pick, like the running back, that changed, or linebackers, they don't have a long shelf life. Tight ends, normally, this guy's a generational, but maybe tight ends. But are there certain positions where maybe you should steer clear from with a top 10 pick?
Oh, yeah. Running back, and you have to be, like I say, even as a safety, as much as I want us to have a playmaking safety, you cannot be one-dimensional. Like before, you could draft an in-box guy up high, or you can draft a guy that can play deep and cover all corners of the field. You have to do both with equal flavor and hunger. You have to be able to do both now. You have to have a Darren Woodson. You have to have a guy that can do it all. Because if not, do not draft this guy in the top 10 or top 12 player. Do not do that. With running back, there's no need to do that. Coaches are smart enough. Offensive coordinators are smart enough now that they can find backs to do this. Our defensive coordinators are smart enough to find guys that can do several things. So you don't have to go out and get, even at linebacker, you don't have to go out and get a killer. You just have to get a guy who's hungry and want to do his job.
Yeah. What do you think, Jesse?
Yeah, I agree. I'm out on ever drafting a running back, high, especially not top 10. I'm okay with if you kind of do what Kansas City did last year in drafting Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Yes. Just a 32nd pick, right? So it's like we're good everywhere else. So let's go add another guy that we can add, be a weapon to our arsenal. But running backs and linebackers, to me, I do think that down the line, there's an Ed Reed out there somewhere, right? There's a Troy Polamalu out there somewhere. And if you get a guy who can play the back end like one of those two guys who are just an extreme ball hawk, and I think that's a guy that you might want to take a high draft pick on if you're looking, because this is a passing league, and it's only there are going to be more Kyle Pitts of the world. There are going to be more CeeDee Lambs in the world. There are going to be more Amari Cooper of the world. I mean, look at this draft already. You got guys in that first tier talent. Waddle. You got Smith. You got Chase. You got Mitchell. I mean, these guys aren't going to stop coming, and as you can see, in the 20 years of the NFL Combine and all the kind of the pro days and all that kind of crazy stuff, you're seeing more 4.3s and low 4.4s than you've ever seen. So that means these guys are only going to get faster and faster and faster in medicine and genetics and weight room stuff. That's only going to get more and more in advance. And so you're going to have a bunch of guys. I mean, you even seen some of the big uglies, some of the fat boys running 5 flats in the 40s. Like, I ain't seen nobody run that fast since the delivery truck had hot donuts on it over at Valley Ranch back in their day. And they were running out there to get theirs. So, you're going to need some guys in the back end to keep up with all that speed that's going to be coming at them on the offensive side. So, linebacker and running back for me are the two that I'm just like, unless this guy can set himself on fire and not burn, then I'm good. I'm good with getting him early in the draft.
Yeah. That reminds me of a question I've been wanting to ask you guys. You mentioned that today's players are faster, they're bigger, better shape than they've ever been, and that's only going to keep, that arrow is only pointing up. Do you think because of that, guys' careers will last longer, or the collisions so much harder now?
What collision?
Like the collisions, or do you think they're
dudes cut out of brakes hard and they get hit. That's where we're losing guys. We're losing more guys to soft tissue pulls than ever before. We're losing guys with torn ACLs and everything because they coming out of brakes or they cut. It's rare that you see a collision where somebody get hit and actually get hurt. The rules protect these guys, and it should. These rules got to stay in place because you don't do that. Y'all go to camp. You haven't been to camp, but you go to camp this year because I'm telling you, my brother, ain't nobody really hit nobody. And if you get too physical, I've known coaches be like, "Hey, that ain't necessary," So these guys should be able to play a while, man. I mean, and I hate to pick on the NBA, but the way the NBA doing it, how can you not ever play for 80 years? I mean, they do nothing. And I ain't got a problem with that. The more years you can play,
his name is Nathaniel Newton.
Yeah, the more years you can play, the best it
61.
They're not breaking down no more because they're maybe more. Is there such a thing as too much training as players?
Nah. It just depends on who you are and what you can do.
Modern technology has come so far. I mean, we got guys coming back from ACL tears, which used to end careers or take 2 years to come back from. We got guys coming back from ACL tears in 9 months, 10 months, less than a year. You know, Odell Beckham is running around doing, all the kind of crazy stuff. Medicine and technology and science has become so far advanced than what it used to be. And I'm only going to assume that it's only going to get more and more technical or whatever. They'll be, someone will tear their ACL and they'll have pre-made ACLs you can attach back on and get back out there in 6 weeks, probably the next 10 years. So modern technology and modern medicine only lends for us to be able to recover faster and to be more of whatever that thing you already are, that be even more enhanced.
The funny thing about it, man, if you used to get a Achilles heel tear, well, it was all but over.
You're done, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now,
You're a workout warrior. What do you think? You think these guys are just arrows going up?
I don't want to sound like the old guy in the room where it's like,
we're all old guys.
back in the day and all this, but I think it's a little bit of both. I think there's a lot to. I mean, I don't think people realize unless you're down on the field on a game day, you don't realize the speed, the power, how that. I mean, you can watch it on TV. It is not the same, man. Yeah. Watching practice is not the same. Like when those imagine literally running into a brick wall, running into that wall, and it's probably even worse because someone's coming at you just as fast as you're going at them, and doing that. 40, 50 times a game? I mean, I'm all for these guys preserving their. That's why when everybody gets upset about players holding out and players trying to get more money and all that, I'm like, dude, get your money. Get all the money you can because you never know when that's going to be your last paycheck. So I think it's a little bit of both. Yeah. I think they're a little. Some guys are probably softer than they used to be, but I also think there's something to preserving your body and not putting yourself through that wear and tear, I mean, that's,
going to a high school game now. I mean, those kids are so much bigger and faster than
and
it's 10 years
that's
ago.
The thing. Every year they get a little bigger, a little bit stronger. It's like Nate, back in the day when you played, how many 6'5", 6'7" guys? Too tall, and he was like an anomaly, right? But now that's that's not uncommon for a defensive lineman to be 6'5", 6'6". Every
That's
once in a
what
while,
this
6'7".
coach here wants. He wants the 6'4", 6'5" guy. This is what Coach McCarthy wants for his defense. Long guys, athletic guys that can do more than one thing. And do it well, not just be halfway doing it. So What's wrong? What's wrong? Why you laughing, man?
Way to catch it. Way to catch yourself, Big Nate.
I almost
We
cussed.
don't have no FCC violations on this podcast,
we do,
baby.
man, because one of my boys going from the Celtics, man, before a video got it. Paul Pierce gone.
Oh, how stupid. We'll talk about that another day. That's
All right, well, fellas, it's that time of day again on Thursday. I hate this moment, but you know what? Jesse, maybe we can get you in studio next week. Maybe we can get you in studio.
Man, we ain't got enough room for them arms, man.
Yeah, you won't
with that big wingspan,
with all the COVID.
You think Kyle Pitts got a big wingspan? Look at your boy, Jay.
Oh my God!
Baby.
You know what? Every single person that came to me last week and said Jesse was so full of himself was absolutely 100%
Jess, I thought
correct.
you should have been a top 4 pick. I think you should have made the
He
Final
was.
Four.
He was number 3. He just got.
He
just got beat out.
He didn't make the top.
Called
He didn't
you
make the Final
and
Four.
told you that I'm full of myself. You think that bothers me?
Absolutely not.
bothers me?
No. When you got an ego as big as yours,
Listen,
that
I
kind
may
of stuff
lack a
don't bother you.
hairline. I don't lack confidence, baby.
There's a thin line between confidence and arrogance, and you walk it very well. Very well,
More on the
Jesse.
side of arrogance than
All right, fellas, Kurt.
I bet you none of them got arms
Oh
like
my God,
this.
Kurt, good seeing you.
I
Nate,
bet that.
I'll see you here in
I
a
bet
minute.
that.
Let's go do this mockumentary.
Yeah, I bet
Chris
that.
Beam, congratulations, man. Great week for
Way
you.
to go,
Great
Beam.
week for
Wow,
you.
man. I didn't know you
Chris
was a big
Beam got the
Baylor
solo
guy.
dub.
Beam.
Let's go.
I did not know he was a big Baylor guy.
He's a huge Baylor
wow.
guy. It didn't even go there. Still a big Baylor guy.
Go
really?
fight,
I
win
assumed he went
tonight,
there.
man.
Yeah.
Sick 'em Bears.
Get him.
Waco's finest, baby.
All right, Jesse, good seeing you. Maybe one day we'll see you again in person. Maybe we can actually go have dinner that we've been talking about for 4 months.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Oh, let's do that,
Let's try
man.
to get that together. All right. We'll work
Go
on
to
it.
Palmer's
Where we
again?
gonna go? Go over to your mom's crib and let her
Let her
fix it
cook.
up?
We could
Yeah.
do that.
Oh.
Sit out on the patio. Ooh. Have Miss Patty play some music.
All I want is them cinnamon buns.
Okay. Hey, maybe that's the deal. Maybe that's
The
maybe that-
buns? You want his mom's buns?
Hey, stop it. All right, we got to go. See y'all next week.
She ain't bad looking,
Hanging with the
though. She ain't
boys
bad
next
looking.
Thursday,
She ain't
11:30.
bad
See ya.
looking.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?